Scorpio came in first. Today we are speaking about the healthy, like before we were speaking about the healthy feminine. Last time we were speaking about the healthy masculine. Today we're speaking about the relation between the two. And I'm telling everyone, it trumps all. Healthy versus toxic, there's not a decision. It's not a decision. It's not close. Not when you're divine feminine. Not when you're divine masculine. If you're a divine energy being, you need health. Do you get what I'm saying? You need healthy relations. You know why? Because it takes you to the next level. It connects you closer to divinity. A divine being is always on their mission, on their purpose. They have vision. So they need someone who's going to assist with that. And if any interaction you're having is taken away from that, we don't want to be a part of that. Too much time wasted. Not the slanderer Libra. Listen, just because what was it? You was a Capricorn, right? And you came in, we said you're toxic. That's what it is, and you guys are. Capricorns are toxic. Balance is what you need between the two, of course. And you know what is? The greatest thing about balance is that it promotes teamwork. It's teamwork. It's two sides connecting. Can a person be their own divine feminine and masculine? Not from the perspective that you are always dominantly in one energy. So if you're a man, generally you're expressing masculine energy. And the body of a man, the mind of a man, is actually, if you look at the components and the qualities that make a man's biology, that make a man's mind, it actually reflects the qualities of the masculine energy. So I'll give you an example, right? One of the components of masculine energy is hard. Did you know, fun fact, the skin of a man is harder than a woman? You see hardness in the mind of a man because a lot of the time men, let's say we want to challenge him on a belief. Or let's say back in the day, did you know that you could die for having certain beliefs? So I remember I don't remember because I wasn't there, but back in the day, 500 years ago, when Henry VIII was pushing England from being Catholic and Protestant, people who weren't on the right side were literally being put up to death if they don't agree with what Henry VIII pushes at that time, right? And it's not about believing. We can't believe or think. It's about what it is. But I'm going to answer that in a second. But one of the components of masculine energy is hard. And you'll be able to see this in the mind of a man. So, for example, if a man usually is willing to die for his belief because there's a stubbornness, there's a hardness to him. One of the greatest things that a divine feminine brings to the masculine is that she does soften him up. That's one of the reasons why women, when they get with a guy, you guys are always like, oh, you can show your emotions. It's okay. You can be vulnerable. Men don't do that the other way around to women. You're bringing that softness to him. So a lot of the time, women actually they don't have a positive response to hearing about gender differences. The reason why is because usually when she hears, men and women are different, when she hears the traits of the masculine, she's already thinking in her head, he's about to tell me what I can't do. He's about to tell me what I'm not like. He's about to tell me that he's about to tell me something that makes me feel like I'm losing value or I'm not greatly perceived. So as soon as you say gender differences to a girl, a lot of the time she's like, I don't want to believe that. And then you have to almost like communicate to her, no, be proud of it. I would say to a woman, why do you want to be hard? Now, it's interesting, right? You said, I don't believe masculine is hard. Have you noticed that women are the ones promoting soft life? So if you type soft life in on Twitter, if you type soft life in on Instagram as a tag, if you type soft life in on TikTok, right? I guarantee you it'll be women posting, because women like their softness and they naturally want to express it. But when you hear a man is hard, masculine is hard, you might be like, oh, but we can be hard too. You don't want to focus on that. You just want to be happy about what you can do. If you're in the chat, make sure you leave a like. Let's just get this going. Let me go back. Relationship is a ship. Two people still work with each other and together. That is healthy. Well, I think that mindset promotes teamwork, so I'm all for that. Justice, Miki said justice for Capricorns. The slander and Libra is attacking us. I didn't slander you guys. I just said that you guys have a support group where people who date Capricorns need healing after. And yeah, I'm not slandering you. Paige, well, it's good that you are divine feminine and you want to be in your divine feminine energy. And you don't need a partner to be whole. You are a being by yourself, right? But the greatness of connecting with the masculine is you get the other side. So you can't be both. You are both in that you're balanced. And inside you're supposed to dominantly be in one energy and you're supposed to balance it out with the other. But you cannot dominantly be both. And that's one of the issues of the divine feminine energy community, is that there's this promotion of independence, not needing a man, right? So that's where that comes from. I can see that, because you're like, well, I don't need a partner to be whole. You could do that, but then you can never embrace or never connect with what the masculine brings. I connect with what the feminine brings through someone who is divine feminine energy. I'm not going to take away from a woman by saying that I could be as feminine as her. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to appreciate that God blessed me with the opportunity to make a woman as my counterpart. I'm so happy. I could never be in tune with authentic emotional expression in the way that a lot of women can. I'm not going to take away from women by saying that I can. I'm just going to appreciate it and appreciate the opportunity I have to be with a woman who could help me do that. And it's the same thing the other way around. You connect with the benefits that the masculine brings with a masculine man. It just is what it is. But that's a great thing, because it promotes teamwork. But in this generation, we don't like teamwork for some reason. We don't like unity. We want to go against each other. We want to say, we don't need you. Yeah, I just spilled my drink. Hold on. But does anyone truly think that if you didn't need someone else, that God would make someone else for you? Why would God make two beings if you didn't need the other? You said, I will say I'm bisexual so I can be femme and masc. I mean, look, if you want to be separate, if you want to be by yourself, that's okay. But I would say this. People in that community, like the LGB, are actually great examples of this, actually. Because you still see the energies connecting. If you look at lesbian couples, usually there's one masculine and one feminine. And if you can't see that there's one masculine, one feminine, not you personally, but I'm saying in general, if someone can't see, it just means you can't see to the trained eye. But there is always one who will lead a little bit more, and always another that likes being the receptive one. Now, you can kind of change in terms of like situations and stuff like that, right? If we're in different situations, one person might like taking on that role. But generally, one's going to dominantly be in one energy and they're going to attract the other energy. These energies are magnetic. The same thing can be seen with a strong, independent woman who is expressing her masculine energy. A lot of the time, she'll attract feminine energy in a man. I don't want to be by myself, but I'm so in tune with the balance of masculine and feminine. That's good. You're supposed to be balanced. Because I'll say the other side of what I said, right? which is more in favor of what you're saying, is like, for example, me. I'm dominantly my masculine energy, but I work on my feminine energy too, so that I can get the benefits of both. But at the same time, I could never truly embrace and connect with the feminine energy like a woman can, because she's literally designed by divinity to do so. Thank you, Lily. I really appreciate that. Let me go back up. I missed some comments, so I'm going back up. BD13, you can't be asking that to me. That's crazy. Oh, Lily going in. We got flowers. We got roses and what's that? Finger hearts. I love that. Thank you very much. Mika, you said the masculine makes you feel safe. That's good. That's exactly what the masculine is supposed to do. The masculine does make a woman feel safe, because it's the manifestation of boundaries, borders, structure, and that which is in the borders is owed safety. Just like before we was talking about lions, right? People think the male lion doesn't do anything. The male lion is extremely important. Yeah, the female lionesses go get that food, but the male lion is territory. He defends the territory. If there's a scary alligator that comes trying to intimidate or attack one of the pack, hyenas come, it is the male lion who is now responsible for ensuring the protection of that group. If a lioness is feminine enough to accept protection from her partner, then I think humans should be the same. Hold on. Hold on, I'm just trying to... Kiki, what's up? We're talking that divine masculine, divine feminine, the beauty of teamwork, healthy relationships, and we're going to get into it in a bit. Reemus, do you feel like a lot of men agree with you, though? Because where are they? And this is what we're going to talk about. Because you know what it is? So many people are operating from fear. A lot of guys, and I'm not saying this in a patronizing way at all, but a lot of guys have actually been hurt, right? So they go through experience where they're struggling with women, or they get hurt by a woman, or it could be as small as catching your girl doing some messed up stuff, and it kind of messes with your brain. So after that, you're on protection mode, and the masculine energy is a protective energy. His masculine shell comes out to protect him, but it's coming out from a wounded context. It's coming from a toxic context, right? So a lot of men, deep down, I'm sure they do see value in healthy teamwork, unity, and so on. But it's just that we're in this messed up environment where everything is so toxic, and toxicity is the move. Toxicity is the way to protect ourselves and so on. Hold on. I spilled my drink, right? So I just need to... Perhaps I'm liking this live. Well, I like that you're liking this live. Let me go. Powerpuff, what's your name? It's sad because I feel more protected in femininity than masculinity. What do you mean by that, Paige? What's up, Jennifer? I'm having a good laugh today. Abby, you said that's why a woman unbalanced with dominating masculine, she tends to try to protect. That makes sense. But what exactly do you mean? Hold on, I'm just reading these. Kiki, yeah, I'm in London. Everybody acting like they don't have feelings. Everyone has feelings. You know, all of these tough people, these people that look like they're tough, they hurt. I'm telling you, so many people are hurt. The toughest people you see, they're hurt, right? But a lot of the time, we kind of invalidate their feelings, which messes up with their own personal healing journey. One of the most damaging things that people say is, "Who hurt you?" I don't know why we say that to people, because it's so discouraging. Like, a person doesn't want to share when you say, "Oh, why are you sharing that? Who hurt you?" A lot of the time when I see, like, there's a big TikToker, right? You might even know what I'm speaking about, but she's always speaking negatively about men, right? Her whole page is just negative about men. But I don't look at that and rise to it. I don't go, oh, she's talking about men, let me get offended by that. I look at it and I'm like, I guarantee you there's hurt somewhere. A lot of time when a woman has a bad reaction, she says, "I hate men." I hear, "I've been hurt." That's what I hear. And it's the same thing with men. Paige, you said, "When I walk down the street and some man is being creepy, a woman steps in." Don't you think a lot of men would step into? Hold on. Nice to meet you, Laura. Kiki, what? Are you in London too? I'm going to ask a question though, right? Wait, hold on. Hold on. Let me need to do something quick. What's up, Harlem girl? Kiki, you mean down the road from London? Do you think we just have bad representation of masculinity, or misogyny plays a part? We have a bad presentation of all of the above. We have a bad presentation of masculinity. We have a bad presentation of femininity. I was speaking to someone. I was doing a one-on-one call with someone earlier today. And by the way, if you want to, speak specifically about deeper topics and so on, or you want to learn something about the masculine and feminine, you can book a one-on-one call. Even if you just want someone that will listen to you as you share. But I was saying, we have bad representations of masculinity and femininity, even down to the shows that we watch. The TV shows that we watch are showing you a weak, toxic, or distorted expression of masculine and feminine energy. For example, a lot of time we see in these sitcoms and these family shows, I remember growing up, like, even shows like Friends or whatever, right? As funny as that is, we're seeing men who aren't wielding the masculine energy properly. We're seeing a lot of weak men. We're seeing a lot of men who, where they are the feminine energy and their wife in the show needs to structure them, needs to tell them off. How are you going to respect men if that's what you're seeing? And one of the major things is, whenever we keep saying toxic, that's all guys hear. But we never showed them how to be positive. We do better if we just said masculinity is powerful, it's positive. Same thing with femininity. A lot of women don't embrace their feminine. They don't. Because they've been told it's weak. They've been told you're a pushover. They've been told this. They don't know what femininity really looks like coming from an empowered place. They don't really know. They just see a woman who might be in her wounded feminine and think that's feminine. So women get that idea. Or a woman gets with a man who doesn't deserve her, right? And he doesn't know how to protect her femininity, but she's a woman who's naturally in her feminine energy, so she's like that with him, right? And then what happens is he's gonna mismanage the situation, and now she's turned off from being feminine with a man, because the last time she did it, she was hurt. Her masculine shell is gonna come out. She don't want to experience that trauma. Hold on, I'm going back up. Someone said you look like John Jones. That is funny. No, I don't. We just have the same head shape, that's all. Someone said you look like Kyrie. Now that is cap. That is cap. Harlem Girl. The topic of today is what is it? The healthy masculine, the healthy feminine relating together, because healthy, mature interactions trump toxicity. But I'm gonna ask this question actually then, right? What is the return on investment, right? What is Angela, do you have a book suggestion on feminine and masculine? I have this book, Healing the Feminine Energy. This is my book. What is the return on investment of toxic relationships? Because there must be some sort of return on that energy investment for us to do it, right? Let's think about it. What is the actual return? Hold on. Respecting men, although I'm a traditionalist at heart. Traditional values all the way. I think, Sarah, that's a good point. I think masculinity comes in all ways and shapes. Same with femininity. That's true. You have different archetypes. You have different expressions. Let's say, for example, you could be in your feminine energy, but you have that sorceress, witch, spiritual type of energy going on. That's your brand of femininity. Another brand of femininity is you could be the sweet type of feminine. You could be the more nurturing, mothering type of feminine. There's different types. Same thing with the masculine. You could be the expression of masculine in a way where you are the wizard masculine. You prioritize wisdom, or you're very spiritually connected. You could have the warrior masculine. He's very action, very proactive. You could have the sensual masculine. That's the seductive guy, the guy who's very in touch with his love inside. So it's like different brands. The question is, what is the return on investment from toxic relationships? Keza, that's a good point. Keza said, the return on investment is the love bombing, making one in the relationship believe they can fix it. That's actually a good point, because, a lot of the times we can fall into the storyline and fantasy of a toxic relationship. And you're excited about the possibility of what it could be rather than what it actually is. There you go. Perp said, I'm buying that book tomorrow. Tell me what you think. Healing with Amon said, your book is life-changing. Well, and guess what? That's a healer. We're getting that from a healer herself. If she's saying healing, she read Healing the Feminine Energy, and a healer saying that, I'd take her word over anyone's. And she does healing, by the way. So if you want to check out her page, go to Healing with Amon. So you become invested in the game. Nothing. You both depleted. I like the answer. But at the same time, I always try to be balanced and say, well, if someone's doing it, if people continuously do it, there must be some form of return. Otherwise, why would you stay in it? The return investment is growth and wisdom if you let the situation teach you. Fair enough. After the relationship, Nonsense Me. This is the book, Healing the Feminine Energy and the Wounds of Your Inner Child. It's on Amazon. You can go to the link in my bio, then you can see it. The word toxic has no positive connotations in itself. I agree with you. But at the same time, it's like, as simple as you say that, why do we still get in toxic relationships and toxic situations then? What is the point? Because if we can answer that question, we can avoid it. If we can answer that question, we can take the good out of it that we're really looking for, and then just bring it into a healthy situation. I'm a fixer. Toxic people find me because I'm both feminine, but I can be strong masculine. That makes sense. That makes sense. And if you're, what you'll find is that you attract people who need you. So if you're the type of person who likes healing, it makes sense that your counterpart is those who need to be healed. Hold on. It's the toxic sex that comes with it. But you know what? In those situations, right, the mind and the spirit plays a very big part. Because actually, if you have someone's mind and you have their spirit, then the bedroom activities feel actually better than what it is. Because you're just stimulated. Your body is willing to be more stimulated. I'll give you an example of this, right? Miss V, the topic of today is the healthy relationship between the masculine and feminine trumps all, and it trumps toxicity. And we're asking the question right now, what is the return on investment from toxicity? What's up, Madeline? But I was saying, did you know, this is a fun fact. When a woman has an affair, did you know she's two times more likely to orgasm with the person that she's having an affair with? Did you know that? And it's interesting because the purpose of the orgasm for a woman is to take in, to contract, to receive the man's cum. And it goes back down to the qualities of the masculine and feminine, just like I told you before. The masculine extends, pushes out. It's a giving energy. The feminine is the receiving, right? So his orgasm is him going out. Her orgasm helps to pull it in. So her body is literally having that big O so that she can try and impregnate herself with that man that she had an affair with. Now, why would her body want to do that? Her body would want to do that because her mind perceives the person she's having an affair with as better than her husband. Because when women do infidelity, they go upwards. Women always try to look upwards. It's called hypergamy. She's always looking for the best option. Hold on. So her body is trying to combine genes with the person she perceives to be the better option. I'm missing some stuff. So the reason why I say that is because the mental perception that she has of the man actually makes the SEX much better. I try to watch my words on lives, because I think they'll take people off. It's like a drug, it's a bad habit. Broken people stay with toxic. They don't know what love is and fall into manipulation. That's true. Iman said, will you be writing a book on how to heal the masculine? I feel like men need that. I'm going to work on it because a lot of the time, men don't like to use the word healing, but they want to be healed deep down. That's why they gravitate towards the red pill, because they're trying to understand the feminine nature so that they don't get hurt again. Iman, do you agree with me? I want the wise words of the healer, Iman. Aqua Moon Gem Sun, you said impregnate herself. What do you mean? Or did I mess up? Did I say impregnate herself? I mean, she's trying to be impregnated by the person she's having the infidelity with. That's what I mean. Hold on. Makes sense because we have to be just as much as they are. Claude, what do you mean by make sense? Because we have to be lessons just as much as they are to us. Lala loves carrot cake. I love that. I don't know how to say your name, but Wogi, is that how you say it? You meet people at the depth with which you've met yourself. That is proper deep, and it's so true. Our reality around us is a manifestation of our mind and our own vibe and the frequency we're running on. So a lot of the time when you attract toxic, it was because you had a little bit of toxicity in you yourself. There's certain things that don't even make sense to you when you're operating on a certain energy. I'll give you an example. When I was younger, I used to think it was cool when a girl was a bit crazy and jealous. That was my own toxicity. Because as soon as I healed that, it no longer was attractive to me. It's a turnoff. It's one of the biggest turnoffs ever. Good evening, Camilla. How's your day been? Zimzi, you said, what do you think of being blunt as women? It depends what you're saying, right? I would say, usually when someone says being blunt, they really mean communicating in a way that lacks finesse. And depending on what you mean by that, you could be coming from the masculine energy when you're being too blunt. If you're setting boundaries that are important to you, it's necessary. But if you're just being blunt and it lacks the flow that comes with the feminine, I would say you have to watch out for that. Even me, when I speak, I don't want to be too blunt. I want to convey the information that I want, and I want it to be received properly. I want it to be received well. So I draw on the feminine energy with the understanding nature of the feminine. I don't want to just say it how it is all the time. I want to convey what it is, but I want my message to be understood and accepted. And we do that by being understanding. I might need to change some words. I might need to take some time. I might need to... this is another thing that the feminine energy does. Women are very great at speaking. This is the flow of the feminine being manifested verbally. All right? So, I might sow... as the feminine, you can sow seeds. Is something I do, right? You can sow and plant seeds. So you say one thing small, and then you build on it from the next time or the next hour or the next time you see the person, so that the actual thing that you're trying to put inside of their mind is like a seed that slowly blooms. I don't need to be blunt all the time. Sometimes I can be, and I have the capability to be blunt. But sometimes a little bit of finesse is more necessary. Hold on. Thank you, Keza. You said you sent a treasure box. I appreciate that. Ruka, the topic of today is the healthy relation between the masculine and feminine trumps all. And the question is, what is the return on investment from toxic relationships? Well, I would say this. I'll give you my perspective now, right? Yeah, so it's cool to be in toxic relationships at some point, right? It seems cool, it feels cool. But when we look at what we got from it in the end, it wasn't that cool. And people who say and big up toxicity, right? Sometimes I think, have you truly been in toxic relationships? Because I've been in toxic and it didn't feel good. It didn't feel spiritually healthy. It didn't feel spiritually encouraging. It didn't feel like that was good for me. It didn't feel like it was good for my soul. Right? And in my opinion, a man should only be with a woman who she can bring value to him and help empower his mission or his vision. And a woman should only be with a man who can uplift her in the areas that she values. Hold on. But again, remember, we're not just talking about the average girl, the average guy. We're talking about the divine masculine, divine feminine. This is the mindset she or he should have. So when we think from that perspective, does toxicity help with the mission? Does toxicity help with the purpose? If you're a guy and you say proudly, yeah, I'm a toxic boy, right? I promise you deep down, you don't really want to be a toxic boy. I know you don't. You're just saying that because you don't know another way. But if you're a man on your purpose, with vision, you got a mission, toxicity doesn't serve you. Thank you, Sergio. I appreciate that. Thank you for sending those roses. And since we live in the generation that wants to be toxic, we got to be selective. Sergio said, why do women test men on their, I'm assuming you said emotions? Well, the feminine energy has to test the masculine energy because it's nature's way of ensuring that she's safe. So when she tests the boundaries, the border, the structure of the masculine energy, that's how she figures out how strong that structure is. So for example, you could be a guy and you could say, I would never lie to you, baby. I'd never lie. It's easy to say that. She's going to have to put that to the test. Because how could she be safe? How could she fall and melt into the masculine's arms if she can't test if it's safe for her to do so? So she's going to have to put that to the test. For a man, you have to be emotionally stable. That was one of the last videos that I did and one that I released on my YouTube. You have to communicate that you're emotionally stable. That's very, very attractive to a healthy feminine woman. Because she knows that sometimes she's going to be a bit chaotic. And if she sees that you're not stable emotionally, she can't relax into your leadership. She can't relax into your masculine energy. She can't relax into her feminine energy. She can't. It's not safe. There's volatility. And if anyone's bringing the volatility, it will be the feminine. Hold on, I'm going back up. Hold on. I'd say equality between both should accept each other, good and bad. I think we should do away with this need for equality. We should just do what fulfills us. Because our need to be equal is one of the reasons why we're always competing. Thank you, Alita. I appreciate that. Investment return, a lesson learned. You know what to look out for going forward and avoid them. That's facts, Michelle. If you're ever in a toxic situation, the best thing you can do is take the lessons from it. You better learn those red flags. Lily said, I have a calm demeanor and I tend to gravitate towards men with calm energy. That would make sense. It sounds healthy. What's up, Nota? Elita, you said it helps teach boundaries and respect if you allow yourself to grow from it. It's good. But it would be so amazing if we didn't need to kind of learn that through bad experiences. Wouldn't it be just great if you could just have a good experience? That's it. You don't need to almost like learn those things. And you could just learn from watching others. What's up, Samira? AMA. Do we say your name Amma? But the subject today has been healthy relationships between the masculine and feminine. It trumps all. It trumps toxicity. And we were saying, what is the return on investment of toxic relationships, since we always find ourselves in them? One, like all of us have been in at least one. Daria, I'm from London. Tom, we have dominant energy. So he asks, would you say you're more masculine than feminine, or is it 50-50? You're always going to be dominantly in one energy. So really it's like 80-20. Literally, let me see if... Hold on. I'm trying to look for a book so I can help you have an understand. Yeah, hold on. This is my bookshelf. Okay. You said, would you say you're more masculine than feminine, or is it 50-50? The masculine and feminine energies are just another word for yin yang, right? That's the yin yang. You have one side, and you always have the dot. You have the other side and a dot. We could just have... They could have just done this sign, or this logo, I guess you could call it, with no dot. But the dot represents the balance. The dot represents the other side. The dot represents that there's always a bit in the other. You're always supposed to have that dot in you. You're more healthy. If you're too masculine, right? What we'd say is hyper masculine. That's too much. It's too much. That's too much extension. That's too combative. That's too much conflict. That's too much... like a guy who is overly tough, overly aggressive. He has too much of it. He would do well to balance it with the feminine energy. And same thing as a woman. She would dominantly, most of the times, be dominantly in her feminine energy, but she wants to balance it out with masculine energy. Someone asked, this leads on to what someone said earlier. Any tips on how to balance your masculine energy? You want to balance it out. So I'll give you an example of how you can balance it out with masculine energy. Practice being proactive if that's not who you are. Actually, no, a good one is practice boundary setting. When you set boundaries, think about the point of those boundaries, the purpose, why it serves you, that you're worth having those boundaries and having it serve you, and practice being firm with what you want. Firm, but you can still deliver it gently. But your addiction, your stubbornness to your principles, you are firm with it. I don't want to compromise. That's an empowered woman. The empowered feminine woman. She taps into her values, her morals, and what she thinks is right and wrong. She's firm with it. Hold on. Hold on, I'm going back up. British to the core, you said lessons are blessings. I love that. I'm going through. Oh God. Some people are crazy. Hold on, I'm still going through. This is true, but equality and respect, loyalty, expectations. Fair enough. Good evening, Lisa. Camilla, right? Answer this question. So since you're a healer and very kind, do you attract people who need a lot of healing, like when it comes to dating and relationships? Samira Susha, I don't know how to say your second name. I was saying what's up to you. Hold on, I'm going. Too much masculinity leads to tyranny. Well, the best type of king is the one who is dominantly in his masculine, right? Because he's able to make us feel safe. He's able to lead. He's able to give direction for the kingdom. That's what we want in a prime minister. That's what we want in a president. We want the type of leader who is going to structure. A lot of us have a problem with the word submission, but do you know, I would love to have a president. I would love to have a prime minister who I gladly say, yeah, I want to follow his rules. I have no problem submitting. It's just that none of these leaders are worth it. And if he balanced it with the caring, understanding, receptive nature of the feminine energy, poof, that's what we need. What's up, Roberta Catalano? Michelle, you said, have you read Steve Harvey's book, Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man? I haven't read it. Steve Harvey's a bit weird on some stuff. I'm not gonna lie, he's a bit weird on some stuff. What's up, Lou? Sarah, you said, do you think stubbornness and being firm are masculine values? They absolutely are. I'll give you an example. Think about the military. Think about how firm the military leaders are. I was walking past cadets recently, right? You know, like army cadets. I guess the kids training to be in the army or whatever. And one of the heads or whatever was there. It was a military man, like an older man. You could feel his energy. You could feel his firmness. You could feel it as he was walking. I was like, that's the masculine energy right there. And we stubbornness, right? Stubbornness masculine values? Think about how stubborn those a-holes called doormen and security guards are. You ever been to a club and you're trying to say to the doorman, hey, can you just, I lost my ID, or I usually have my ID, can I just show you a picture? Or, hey, I know you're closed. You're just trying to haggle your way in. You're trying to get in, right? Have you ever experienced how stubborn those guys are? That's the masculine energy in them. And it's good. Their commitment to stubbornness comes down to the protectiveness of the masculine energy. They're protecting that establishment. That's why it's stubborn. What's up, Tattoo Twin Tarot, the expert on astrology? Keza, you said, do you think it's true women want a strong, dominant man, but when it's given, don't want it? No, they absolutely do want it. What has happened is that society has indoctrinated them and programmed them to feel less than for not being as strong and dominant as the man that they're actually craving. But when they are that strong and dominant, they're going to attract the feminine. Hold on. He said, let me ask you, how does a woman who has unwillingly adopted masculine traits undo it? This is literally what the book is about. This is literally it. Healing the feminine energy. But I'll give you, obviously we'll talk about it now. But it's called Healing the Feminine Energy. And it was inspired by people continuously asking, if I'm predominantly in my masculine energy, how can I tap into my feminine energy? But you have to go on a healing journey. It's going to take work. And usually what has happened is that either it will be the setup of your childhood, it will be experiences you've had that have put you in your masculine energy. And what happens is that you start building a life based on the masculine energy. So many women say it's exhausting now. I'm trapped in the masculine energy. Why did they use that word trapped? They used the word trapped because they built a life upon those values. It's very hard for them to undo. The first thing I say is she has to look at femininity as so powerful, so wonderful, so strong, so beautiful. She's committed to figuring it out. You have to figure out what is your why. Why do you want to undo it? I would say, and I'll give you a why you could have, it's going to be truly fulfilling. You're going to attract the right type of man. You're going to trust yourself. You're going to tap into your intuition. It's going to feel beautiful being gentle, tapping into your softness. That's why many women are engaging in this trend of soft life, soft life, soft life. Women love being in their softness. You tap into flow. you're more in tune with your sensuality, your sexuality. Hold on. Do you think masculinity and femininity is socially constructed or biological? That is a wonderful question, right? Differences between men and women were designed by divinity, were divined by God, designed by God. It's not a coincidence that people in South America expressed the same masculine and feminine values as people in Germany in 1000 AD, before these countries had ever come into contact. I would ask this: if someone thinks that these things are just a social construct, how is it then that these places that have never met, in medieval times, in ancient times, why did they have those similarities? Why wasn't it just vastly different? And if it is true that social cultures are responsible, then what credit do you give biology, neurology, spirituality, the psychological aspects? You say it's all social? What was the point of designing a man and a woman if you could just program into them their differences? It's more social. It's definitely not social. More social. I'll tell you why. Your hormones are responsible for your behavioral inclinations. So, for example, it can be heavily stimulated by culture, of course, because the culture puts you in certain positions that unlocks certain energies. But do you know, when you are in certain energies, your body tries to create the hormone that matches that energy? If you put a woman in a situation where she has to be in her masculine energy, in order to compensate for that, her body will create more testosterone. Why is it that the people who are, the rainbow campaign, who want to switch and change their genders, why did they seek to change their biology? Why don't they just be a masculine woman? Why don't you just be a feminine man? Why? Because they understand that biology has to match the identity that they have. One book, Ray, you said, is this scientific? One good book, if you want to read about the science of this, it's not my book, but it's called End of Gender. Well, you guys can't. I don't think you can. But that's the book, right? End of Gender. Debunking the myths about sex and identity in our society. It's from Dr. Deborah So. She's a former feminist. I did a review on this on my channel if you want to check it out. I answered the question with, information from the book, because I kind of do like book reviews. On my YouTube channel, if you go to my link in my bio, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. And last week, I released a video answering that question. Is it just a social construct? But that's a very good book. Healing the Divine Feminine. Now, the book, this is called The End of Gender. This is not healing, the healing one. But this is healing the feminine energy. So if you want to check that book out, the link is in my bio, right? This is the blurb, right? It says, this is for anyone who wants to discover the power of womanhood. It's for women who want to grow into the most confident and healed versions of themselves. Benefits include living in a state of peace, attracting the right relationships, recovering from past traumas. It breaks down the process to healing all wounds to the feminine spirit, setting you off on a journey to empowering your femininity. All right, we're going to go back to the question of what is the return on investment from toxic relationships, right? One of the returns for a girl is that girls are prone to falling into toxic relationships because it's extremely stimulating. And the feminine energy, it seeks stimulation, it seeks flow, right? It loves it. That's why if you if you speak to feminine coaches, they will always kind of encourage pleasure, and they'll talk about being in your flow and embracing chaos. There's stimulation in that. So girls are prone to toxic relationships because it's very stimulating. Guys, on the other hand, they like being the toxic boy because it's one way that they can get the girls. And I didn't know if you know this, but secretly they want to protect their heart. So when they go on social media and they see girls doing guys wrong, let's say, cheating and stuff like that, they're like, forget that. I ain't being no nice guy. I ain't doing that. The toxic boy, he gets all of it, so I'm going to be the toxic boy. But you can get the same results, but by being healthy. You can even get better results by being the healthy masculine, the mature masculine. All right. Press 1 if you've been in a toxic relationship and you found it extremely stimulating. Press 0 if you're like, no, I've been in a toxic and there was no stimulation to it at all. I didn't like it at all. All we got. Someone said, check this out. Why you gotta be difficult? Lisa, you're in one now. All right, so it seems a bit mixed. It looks like there's more zeros. So you've been in a toxic relationship and it wasn't stimulating at all. Like the bedroom activities wasn't more, you argue, you tell each other to F off. You're like, I don't want to ever speak to you again. Next thing you know, you're in the bedroom. That makeup activity is extremely stimulating. That ain't never happened to you? "22 years in a toxic situation. That is very long. Are you going to stay in it? Laurie, you said you're suffering severe trauma from an extremely manipulative ass relationship. Is that what you're saying? But you should see yourself as so valuable that you're above being in a situation that should traumatize you. Or if you're saying you just left it, then that's good. You got to be so committed to your healing that it's not even funny, because the future you deserves it. All right, so it was mixed. But usually, a lot of the time, people love the stimulation that comes with it. And they secretly don't want to be vulnerable on the deepest levels because they fear themselves getting hurt. They don't want to fully relax. But that thought in your mind that you have, it's always gonna manifest in some way. It's gonna come through in the relationship. You gonna pay. Like, when I was younger, I used to think, being the toxic boy was cool. And it is definitely cooler than being the nice guy. For sure, right? But then I learned that you can do the same thing in terms of getting stimulation or being stimulated, and you can get more out of it. There can be a better return on investment. As I said before, someone said, wait, let me go back up. And as someone who sees himself as one who does have purpose, does have vision, does have a mission. It's a must. I can't waste time in toxic situations. Too much energy is going to be given. I'm above that. Miss V, you said I need to answer now. I would say 1. On some level, the up and downness and the storyline is a little bit of it. It's a little addictive. But then we say this, right? Wait, hold on. Let me read. Let me go back. Anyone who sent gifts, if I missed it, I want to say thank you. I appreciate it. Corey said there's a much greater return, of course. How robbed do you feel when you've given all of that time, all of that energy, and you're in a worse off position than before? A lot of the time, if I said to you, tell me about currency, you would tell me about money, and you wouldn't be wrong, but that's just financial currency. Did you know the currencies of the universe, right? Time, energy, attention, these are also currencies. You gave all of that currency. You paid. It's like putting money into a cryptocurrency and it just push. We call that a SHIT coin. That's what a toxic relationship is. You put all of that money, all of that currency, right? The money of the universe, time, attention, money. That's why we say, hey, do you want to spend time with me? Can you pay me attention? Because it's a currency. And you spent it in a situation which was, what Lisa said, worthless. Now, what I'm saying is you should make that payment, but make it an investment. Make it an investment. Don't just spend it. Don't just spend it on superficial interactions. Invest it so there's a return on value. Zimzi, you said, I don't feel robbed at all. I needed to be brought down that low to grow. I truly am grateful. That's a good mindset to have. But at the same time, could you not have grown without that? Namita, you said all energy is currency. I believe that. Before there was money, there was energy, has been there since the beginning of time. What is really a job? Is you being paid for your energy or for the results of what your energy can do. What's up, Gemma? Wait, hold on, I'm going through. Corey, you said, are you training young males? I'm training everyone. But I'm definitely training young males. I'm training the army. I'm training the army of divinity. I'm training the army of men who embrace masculinity and express it in a positive way, who want to be masculine leaders, who find it exciting to be the dominant gentleman. And if anyone wants to book a one-on-one, then just head to my bio link. If it's not worth it, I'll refund you your money. But that's not happening, because I'll give you more value than you could ever believe. User 1152. You said, hey, King, but you got to tell me your name. What's your name? Gemma, you said, I love a dominant man, how it should be. I would say most women love a dominant man, even if they don't know it. But we do know it, because when 50 Shades was released, they was all running and lining up. What is 365, that movie, but just a dominant man sweeping a woman off her feet? And you know what's funny about that movie? That movie is so cringy to me, because they're trying to overdo the dominant side, but it just goes to show how much they really want it. It just goes to show how much they really wanted, that you had to watch that film and him be so overly dominant to the point where it's like, this don't even make sense. This is like over the top. Who watched that show? Or that movie? and then he chains her up on the bed or whatever. He chains her up on the bed, and she's all like, "Oh my God, I'm scared." Come on, man. If that was in real life, people would be like, "That's, close to SA." I'm not gonna say those words obviously on here, but the movie I'm talking about I think it's called 365 DNI or 365 Days. It's like an Italian movie, but it's like this mafia guy. What's up, Catherine? It's this mafia guy, and he meets this girl. I think she's from Poland or something. She goes over for a trip, but he's just madly in love with her from like the time he sees her. But he locks her up in the room, and he's like, "You have a year, 365 days to fall in love with me. If you don't, I'll let you leave." But what is that containing? What is that? The masculine energy containing. But she had bright energy. You saw how her feminine energy was really testing. And I guess it makes sense because he was kind of hyper masculine and she had that hyper chaotic feminine energy. And she wanted to be bratty and storm off. What did you guys think of that movie? He said, "Tell me, if I was toxic but was everything you wanted, would you let me go?" When it comes to now, I would be the reason why the girl heals, or she would have to go, because it's bigger than me and her, in my opinion. When you're divine masculine, when you're divine feminine, it comes with purpose, right? Your presence, your energy, your expression contributes to the world. And I haven't got time to engage in toxic situations because of what we were saying earlier. There's not much return on investment. And the mission has to be done. The purpose has to be completed. Nations, kingdoms have to be built. If she wants to stay toxic, she's going to have to stay on that low vibration. But it's in every relation. Jeremy, you said, "I didn't know I liked dominance until I watched 50 Shades," to be fair. But this is what I'm saying. Why don't women know that that's what they want? You do want that. You do it. Majority of you are never going to go up to a guy and speak to him. You like him taking the lead. You get excited about him planning the date. Usually you do not want to plan the date. You want him to take charge. But what we do is we attribute that word dominance and we put it with negativity. Granted, because many people express it in an unhealthy way. So I totally get that, but it messes up the perception of the word and what it's supposed to be. And this is why I say what a man should want to be is a dominant gentleman. You want to combine dominance, but with respect and care. A future champion. You can't be calling me Will Smith. Keza, you said, "I like dominant men, but only when I want him to be." Then he's not dominant because you're actually leading him, depending on what you mean. The whole thing about that dominant energy is you don't get to decide, actually. But that's great because it allows you to lose control. Imagine he just turned off his manhood. Just imagine one day, right? You fall in love with this guy because you see he's strong, he's confident, he's reliable, he's responsible, he makes you feel safe. And one day someone can just turn it off. Then it's not really real, it's not really him. Now, of course, he should also balance that out with a caring nature. I think that's the most sought after guy is a guy who can do that, who can have that dominant energy, but he knows when to add it with care, when to add it with the understanding part of the feminine nature, feminine energy. Right? You don't need to be all tough, all the time. That's unnecessary. But deep down, he will always have a dominant core, and he should do. Peach, you said such a surface analysis. Hope this person and viewers will think deeper. I love that you think deep. That's good. When you say that is acting, are you talking about the show, like the movie? But yeah, when we answer that question of what is the return on investment of toxicity, and the fact that people are attracted to toxic situations because it can be stimulating, it can actually help them protect themselves and so on, we have to understand that you don't have to protect yourself by being toxic. You don't have to try get girls by being toxic. You don't have to be with a guy who's toxic because it's stimulating. Guess what? Because God, divinity, whatever you believe in, would never design us so that we don't find our natural state stimulating and fulfilling. That would be weird. Why would, imagine God programming humans, he's making this biological machine, which is, the human body is a biological machine. That's why you have an instinct. That's your programming, biological programming. God's gonna, I'm programming humans. Oh, yeah, and I'm going to make it so that the only way they can be fulfilled and happy in love, in relationships, is when it's toxic. Like, do you really think that's the case? Really? Of course not. You can be just as fulfilled in a healthy situation, but it's just that when you're toxic, you attract toxic, and that makes sense to you. But when you're healed, the healed version, the mature version, the divine version is just as stimulating. What's up, Celine? How is your day in Panama? Oh, you said, Amma, you said men who switch off masculinity. That's acting. That makes sense. And Gemma, you're right. It's always about toxic masculinity, etc. Just let a man be a man. That's facts. And if we just spoke so highly of masculinity, how beautiful and empowering it can be when it's positive, guess what? Guys would want to be that. But they don't get the information. You know, when you focus so much on what you don't want, you only create more of what you don't want because you didn't work on manifesting or building what you actually like. If you want guys to be positive and empowered in their masculine, don't tell them about toxic. Don't do that. Tell them about the positive version. They'll want to be that. What's up, Jay? How's your day been? You said healing is what a lot of women need to do, but the more we invest in toxic people, we are programmed. What exactly do you mean by that? By the programmed part? You mean like programmed by toxic people who make you more toxic? I'm glad your day's been alright, Jay. My day's been okay. I've been working on content. I just finished a video series, like a course called Masculine and Feminine Energies Explained, where I go through like the basics of the masculine and feminine energy qualities, how it's expressed, how it's expressed in real life, why we want to unite it, and how it creates gender roles, and how gender roles are not coming from society, they come from God. God created the perfect team. Sometimes I just sit. I'm like, you really went off. You really went off when you created men and women. People just can't see it. You know, I don't even want to get started. We'll save it for another day. But you know, sometimes I just sit and I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you for making my counterpart the feminine. Thank you for making women for me. Do you get what I'm saying? If I was a girl, I'd be like, oh, you created a man for me? Thank you. You talk like that, you're going to attract a healthy, strong, mature, masculine man. Hold on. Shalom. Gemma, you said, I think people are so confused by societal expectations now. They don't know what masculine is now. We don't know what masculine or feminine is for the most part. For the most part, most people do not know. Because how could they know? We're not getting the information. And this society, we are born into a society where the cards are stacked against you from the outset. From the outset, it's stacked against you. You never had a chance unless you was going out intentionally trying to learn it. From what they put in the TV, music, everything. Even down to what they put in the food messes with our DNA. The proper expression of what we're supposed to think and all of this stuff. Jay, I love that. You love that for me. Gemma, that is funny. What even is that? Is true. But you know what's funny? It doesn't matter what you say on the surface in terms of what you are physically or what gender you think you are or you're not. The energy you have will always try to find its counterpart. You will always be in one energy. It's actually impossible, not to be in a certain energy. It's just impossible. It's hard to say because it's that impossible. Jace, you said every once in a while I tweet about how excited I am to meet my future man. That's good. And you know what you should do? You should tweet or just speak about the qualities that he would have and how much you love that. That puts a signal out, right? That attracts that frequency back. That's why I never really talk negatively or disrespectfully about what I don't want, because it's a waste of time. I just want compromise, energy, peace, and love. God has already told us how men and women should behave. That's a good point. We're going to go on to that. Iman, you said, I've met my healthy counterpart and it's such a divine partnership. He sounds amazing. He sounds actually amazing. Healthy counterpart, divine partnership. I love that for you. He sounds amazing. What's up, Kirsty? Zimzi said, what if people pretend to be what you want? If you are discerning with your eye, you will know. You will know. People can't put up a front for too long. You just can't do it. You have to look at the micro expressions in their behavior, not the big things that they say, the small things. And you have to see consistency, right? It is true. I can't lie. Because it's different as a woman. Because you guys are more receptive. So you're obviously going to attract more pretenders. But this is why the feminine has to be selective. Extremely selective. Just like the egg. The egg don't let every sperm in. Many try, but not many get in. What's up, Lucy, man? You said, wait, hold on. Corey, you said, I want a man with the qualities and maturity you show. It's so relieving to see that you exist. I appreciate that. And And this is why it goes back to being super selective and putting out a positive frequency. And the important part is becoming or working on yourself in such a way that you would naturally become who your counterpart is seeking. You don't need to have ego. And sometimes in this generation, we say, I ain't working on myself for this person. Nah, I'm not like that. I'm just letting you know. I work on myself for me, of course. But I am thinking about how great I want a woman with me to say, I'm glad he worked on himself. Like, that makes me happy. Lily, you said you gotta look at their spirit. They can hide in the natural, but a spirit can never hide. That's facts. What is spirit? It is energy and forces that manifest, but it cannot be seen to the naked eye, but it can be felt. I think one day we will actually be able to read spirit, like on a machine or something. But I think it might be in like 1,000 years. Because when you think about it, you never would have been able to look at oxygen, if that makes sense, 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. Do you get what I'm saying? But now we have the machinery where we can look at the different components of the cells and the atoms and H2O particles and all of this stuff. You can look at oxygen particles or measure it. I'm so sure we'll be able to measure energy like on a machine. Oh, we got some toxic people in the house. I mean, Taurus people in the house. Sorry. You know, because the day before, we was reading the list of the toxic star signs. And I think Taurus, where was it? I still have the tab. Wait, I'm going to go back on the tab. Where was Taurus? Taurus was... Yeah, Scorpio. Scorpio was number one. So, Gemma, you said you're Scorpio. Yeah, you definitely toxic gang. Scorpio was number one toxic. Gemini was number 2 toxic. Taurus was number 3 toxic. You toxic people. You probably hate what I'm saying. I'm like, oh, we should be in healthy relationships. Meanwhile, Tauruses are here. Scorpios are here. You guys are like, no. Toxic all the way. Sorry. Taurus all the way, sorry. Eri Bombula. I don't know how to say your name, but is it Eri Bombula? But she said, I dumped a Scorpio today. Damn. So are you heartbroken right now? Or are you good? I'm Sagittarius and he is a Gemini. You know what's funny, right? I've got this book, right? I've had it for ages, but I've never really properly read. I mean, I read my part, right? It's called Cosmic Love Vibes by Terry King. Your astrological guide to hot sex and real love. And it has each of like the matches, right? It has each of the matches. So here it says Virgo woman with Libra man, or Virgo woman with Sagittarius man. Or let me just go to the next one. It says Taurus woman with Pisces man. And it tells you like how the compatibility is supposed to be. Sagittarius with Virgo man. Like all of the combinations. You said, without Drake, who is your favorite rapper? 50 Cent is my favorite rapper of all time. And you know why? I like the rappers who have a lot of masculine energy. Right? A little bit violent, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes, I like a bit of NBA Youngboy, wilding out. Amb, you said you're Taurus. So you're toxic. right? Taurus are busy creating victims for more support. Oh, toxic Taurus. But remember, it really was Capricorns that was, I think, very toxic. Capricorn and Scorpios I have up there. Hey, Costa, you said, agreed, I'm very feminine but extremely independent. I attract men with unhealed issues. This is what I was saying earlier, right? I can't say for you because I don't know your situation, but you're saying you're extremely independent. And when you project a super level of independence, you should expect to attract men who are not dependable. So as a woman, you don't want to do that. I know society said, be strong, be independent. Project that to men and you will attract weak men who are not dependable. You need to project some level of desire for interdependence at the very least. A man should be reliable. This is why we want a man to be a provider and protector. Soul conscious, you said, what's my star sign? It's the best star sign, really. It really is the best. Like, sometimes I just think, like, you know, it's so cool being the scales. It's so cool being balanced. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. I feel lucky that I'm a Libra. Jay, you saying you never heard this? You're in shock because about your star sign being toxic. I was gonna say that 50 hella masculine. You know what? We'll talk about this. All right. He is a very good example because he's masculine, but even though he's a little bit petty, but 50 Cent is very masculine. We know he was the leader of the G Unit group back in the day. He had that vibe of almost being a bit intimidating, extremely dominant on the music scene, right? Blasting through, he had that energy. But you know what's interesting? When I've seen women speak about their dating experiences with him and interactions, they usually say he was extremely respectful. And that's what I'm saying, when you don't need to be the toxic boy to get an extreme level of desire from a woman or stimulation. It's actually not necessary. You can do the same thing, have the same hardcore qualities, but add respect, care, good intentions to it, and it's even better than when you was in a stimulating toxic situation. He is paid though, I won't lie. You know, hey, Libra, your Libra rising. Shout out Libra gang. Jay, you've never met a male Libra. I'm sorry to hear that. You know, I'm sorry to hear that. Adiz, you're going. So, good night. Let me go back up. A Costa, Gemini. Well, listen, on that list of the most toxic, where do you think Gemini was on the most toxic list of star signs? Gemini, you said, yeah, I'm independent. I attract men who cannot do anything for themselves, and I'm the carer. And this is what I'm saying, like, you need to project some level of interdependence and a willingness or a desire to be able to depend on your man. One of the last videos I did on TikTok, released, was you want to activate the hero instinct in a man, right? You want to inspire his giving nature. Men are programmed to want to give. They're programmed to want to be willing to die for the sake of the woman and the child. That's how we are. Back in the day when men were meeting up, army, going to WAR. I don't like saying this stuff, by the way, you know, because TikTok will take you down apparently. But what men would be saying to themselves before they go on the battlefield is, do this for your woman. Do this for your child. Protect what you've built. Protect your family. They're willing to die for that. All you have to do is inspire him to want to be given. That's it. Hey Mo, what's up? Toxic gang, and another Capricorn end of the building. He said, "Wow, I've had the best relationship with Sagittarius and Libra, Cancer, no, Pisces and Cancer. Wow, Sagittarius, I f with Sagittarius. They might be the second best star sign. Soul Conscious. He said, what's your best life advice? There's so many different things that you could say, but my favorite personal thing is affirmations, visualizations, and being so committed to who you could be that it's really get rich or die trying, but it's get who you are, get the future you or die trying. I'm thinking of making the future me say thank you for what I'm doing now. I want to give him reason. The person who I'm going to be in 4 years, I want him to look back and say, I'm so glad in this moment, in the present, you was thinking about me. You was doing the things necessary to put me in a good position. Aaliyah, I'm from London. Kari said Gemini men are very different to Gemini women. I don't know, but I can only speak about Gemini women because obviously, Libra has attracted Gemini women. That has been my experience, and that's one of the reasons why I believe kind of in the star signs, because I always attract, like, I can tell when a girl's a Gemini. I can just feel it. There's something where I can feel it. Sometimes I can tell if a girl's an Aries and a Libra. One time I met this girl, right? I swear, literally just met her, and I could almost feel what the vibe was. And I said, are you a Libra? She's like, oh my God, how'd you know? And that kind of makes me think maybe it is true, because you can kind of feel it. I don't know. Aaliyah, do I sound American? Yates, man, you said, hey, bro, just a reminder to push yourself mentally and physically and become who you want to be. I appreciate that. I like words like that. I like people wanting the best for me, and I want the best for you. So I'd say the same thing back to you. Let's push. Let's keep going. Let's not fall into the averageness and the mediocrity of this society and what they're pushing. And they want people to be weak. They don't want people to be their best selves. But that's not us. That's not me and you. We want to be the best self. We want to grow into the greatest versions of ourselves. Even if it means going through a little bit of pain, a little bit of sacrifice. We want to manifest the best type of relationships and friendships. We're addicted to working on ourselves. We want to read every day. We want to put on YouTube and listen to insightful videos instead of just going on and always listening to music. Instead of radio, we're going to turn on some insightful podcasts. We're going to put on something we can learn. We're going to stay disciplined. We might not want to go to the gym or work out every day, but we're at least going to, bang a few push-ups or bang a few squats or whatever you want to do. We're going to do that before we jump in the shower. Why? Because we want to be the best version of ourselves. Corey said, Andrew Tate, I've been listening to him. He is very dominant, but such a gentleman. Someone else, I think it was Kara, you said, what do you think of Andrew Tate? I think a lot of people need to listen to things throughout and try to not look at the sound bites that are negative so that they can really see the messages that are being conveyed. I never see something on social media and let that excite me or offend me, because that's too much control they have over my emotions. And when you come down to the core of it, I believe Andrew Tate's message is that he wants to inspire people to become the best versions of themselves. Now, his delivery, I can see why it causes some sort of controversy, but I'm not someone that gets offended by what another person says, so I just see the good in what they say. Lily said, what's masculinity without pain and sacrifice? Not sure where I heard that yesterday. You might have heard that from my TikTok. Hold on. So, yeah. So we were saying before, 50 Cent, he has alpha energy, but he's quite respectful. From what I've seen of... Hold on. From what I've seen of Tate, I don't even want to say his name, because you know when you actually say his name, apparently the algorithm picks it up, and they don't obviously like him, so I don't even want to say his name, so I'll just say Top G when I refer to him, right? But when I've seen videos of him that weren't him speaking to the camera, like he was just in a venue or something and people were saying hi to him or something, he seemed very respectful. A lot of these guys that come across as super alpha and super hardcore when they're presenting their character, just like 50 Cent, from what I've seen, they're very respectful off camera. And girls who have dealt with them always have the best things to say. This is one of the reasons why, again, I'm telling you, the toxic boy is missing out, because he thinks that he needs to be toxic to get that level of desire or stimulation in a woman. But you could actually do the same thing. You just need to be what the masculine energy is. You need to be strong. You need to be dominant. You need to be a leader. But you first must remember that you lead yourself first. It's almost like you are leading and yourself in the reality that you are creating, and she joins that. That's what it's supposed to be like. Now, I'll give you an example. Good night, Gemma. Gemma, I hope you have a good sleep. Now, we spoke about 50 Cent, right? That's a rapper. One who I see as being alpha but respectful. Now, I'll give you an example of the toxic boy, right? But another rapper. So does anyone know about, the situation with Blueface and his girl, and what his relationship has been like the last few months? You guys been hearing about Blueface? Let me go back up. He's only ugly when he's beefing. Are you talking about like 50? But if you don't know, Blueface, the rapper, he's with his girl, Chris. I think her name Chris Rock, but like Chris Sean Rock, right? They always on the shade room for being, a little bit, not a little bit, very toxic, right? Very toxic situation. They're always going up for beefing, and you see a lot of stimulation. You see up, you see down, you see up, you see down. She's like, I ain't dealing with this guy anymore. Next day, she's like, I'm gonna tattoo him. Yeah, that's my man. We gonna be together forever. And the next day, you seen a video of her punching him, slapping him. And then after that, it's like, nah, that's my man. That's my man. Nah, we having a baby soon. That is the perfect example of the toxic situation. So much stimulation, so much up and down. Yeah, apparently he got arrested yesterday for, I think it was drawing a GUN on someone. Shanice, she said, my heart breaks for, I'm assuming you mean Chris Sean. Poor thing doesn't know what true love from a man is. And this is why we're saying this today. This is why we're talking about you don't need to be toxic. Healthy, mature interactions and relationships, that wins. Because in the end, if this situation doesn't improve, I guarantee you, she's going to be like, oh, I was young, I was dumb, whatever she's going to say. But they could just do the same thing, have the same level of desire, have the same level of growth, or whatever it is. But they could do it in a healthy way. There'll be a better return on investment on that. Now, as a guy, she's also so masculine. That's good that you notice that, because then you see the type of relationship that is chaotic like that is the type of one where the girl is in her masculine. And that leads to my next point, where he is being disrespected. So if you're a toxic boy on this, right, I would invite you to look at that situation and say, you don't need to do that. And what is a reason that you don't want to do that? We're talking about return on investment, right? The toxic boy, he does get stimulation, but he cannot inspire her submissive nature. Not truly. He can't. So what we see with Blueface is he still gets disrespected. He still gets hit around the place. You get what I'm saying? They're in bars. His woman swings on him. Your woman should never be swinging on you. That's weird. No one should be swinging on anyone, ideally, but they're in situations where they're both getting into fights. Now, a lot of the time we can judge, but they're just in the public eye, and many relationships are like that. Hold on. The relationship is abusive on both sides. I pray they leave each other alone. I don't think that's gonna happen though. I don't think they're gonna leave. Do you think they're gonna leave? I think it's too stimulating, and the fairy tale and the storyline of toxic situations also are highly addictive. I get it. She's a 9, but she's obsessive, star signs. I'll let her keep a 9. He seems so emasculated by her. That's a good point. And then you see that even though he's the toxic boy, we now look at him and go, he seems emasculated. What guy really wants that? So the benefit of keeping your woman in her feminine by being a good leader, by making her feel safe, by inspiring that cooperative nature, which really is the submissive attitude, the benefit is you do get to be trusted in that leadership position. And then that's great for the reputation of both of you. Because if she's with the type of guy who she can trust to lead, then that means she with a boss. That means she is with a king. We can't look at him and say he's operating like a king, because he ain't got his kingdom in order. But maybe it makes sense, because I would ask him, hey, was you operating with the mindset of wanting to be a righteous masculine leader beforehand? Or did you think toxic boy style was cool? I know they got that page on Instagram, Hoodville, right? And, you know, again, I don't hate on none of this stuff. All I'm saying is I'm offering a different alternative. But a lot of guys gravitate to wanting to be that type of guy. But I can see these guys don't get cooperation at the highest level from their women. And this is why I'm saying, be the masculine leader. Be the dominant gentleman. Want to be mature masculine. When you do that, you attract healthy, mature feminine. And a girl could be toxic, but when she's around that type of guy, she can actually reflect him, because we say a woman is a reflection of her man. She could come in toxic, and all of a sudden, because she's reflecting you, now she's in her healthy, cooperative state. What's up, Kigar? Those them type of things you watch from a distance. You said it will probably escalate until nature ends it. Unfortunately, not in a good way. Yeah, it's crazy. You know what? Sometimes I think about the fact that, like, you know, when your life is, or your relationship is toxic, that can motivate you to lose your head in situations like what he was in yesterday. You know? One thing I like about the healthy, empowered feminine woman is that she brings a level of calm to your life. You could be the crazy, just like I said, a girl could be toxic, and because of the man she's dealing with, she could project and express from a more healthy state. The same thing the other way around. Many guys have said, you know, I was a crazy guy before I met my woman, but she kind of calms me down. I wonder if he was with the type of girl who was in her healthy, mature, peaceful, divine feminine energy, would he be so quick to draw a gun on, a random person and risk his livelihood? What's up, Eva? How's France treating you? If you're in, just click, tap the screen, send a few likes. I appreciate everyone who's been sending likes. Thank you, Miss V. Thank you, Corey. An extremely independent woman will butt heads until she trusts you enough to allow you to lead. I'm going to give you another perspective, right? As someone said earlier, I think it was Gemma, she said, I am a very independent woman and I attract men who, along the lines, she said something like, who keep wanting to take away from her. So when you project that you're extremely independent, you've just projected that the man doesn't need to be someone who is worth relying on or worth depending on. So when you project that you are super independent, extremely independent, and you want to butt heads with your man, you can only make space, or you can't make space actually, because, well, masculine energy is a projecting energy. So you're not creating a receptive space for masculine energy to come in. So you're unlikely to attract the type of guy who you would trust to lead. You don't want to communicate that you're extremely independent if you want to be with the type of guy who you want to trust to lead. You want to create a space, right? You want to create a receptive space for his masculine energy to penetrate. And that is the guy who is most likely one who you will trust to lead. The leader isn't looking to butt heads. I don't want to butt heads with my woman. It's weird. Why do I want to butt heads with my woman? I never want to butt heads with the person I'm ordained by divinity to protect. I want to protect. I want to provide for my woman, but I want to butt heads with her. I never want to butt heads. Think about that word, butt heads. Butt heads. Do you know who butts heads? Goats. Males. With the horns. Headbutt. That's masculine energy. Masculine energy. Masculine energy. That's who butts heads. You don't want to do that with your man. And a masculine leader would never want to do that with his woman. So, if you're trying to attract a righteous masculine leader, you don't want to butt heads. It's a waste of time. There's no return on that investment. You want to create a receptive space. Oh, I hope that makes sense. Wait, let me go up. Thank you, Jessica, for sending the rose. I appreciate it. Thank you, Lily, for the daisies. Hope I didn't miss anything. And when we talk about receptive space, right? When we think about receptive space, I was saying earlier that the components of the masculine energy, or any of the energies, you can see the parallel with it physically, mentally, spiritually. It's all the same. So one of the spiritual qualities of the feminine energy is that it's a receiver. It is space. What is your genitals? It's a receiver. You see how it's the same thing? But you want to be like that consciously, verbally. Will Serbia beat Brazil in football? I think that's crazy. I think Brazil... I love Brazil, so I don't think Serbia will beat them. That's all good. A Costa. What's your name? What does A stand for? Divine Queen. I hope your day was good too. When you say fake masculine, what do you mean? When I heard, what's up, Mookie Fat? Hey. When I think of fake masculine, what I think of is someone who's portraying masculinity, right, on the surface. But when you look at the principles they hold, when you look at the values they hold, when you look at how they express, they're not really masculine. There's many guys that look tough, they look masculine, they have a beard, they have tattoos, right? But they're not really masculine. I'll give you an example. You cannot be masculine if you're a guy who's not in tune with truth and honesty. A guy might look tough, but he's scared of his woman. He's scared to tell her what it is. He's scared to tell her what he believes in or what he wants. That's fake masculine to me. Okay, Amy. What's up, S? What does S stand for? Shaz. And Mookie, what's your name? Is it Mookie? Shannon. So yeah, many guys on a superficial level, they're masculine. But when you look at the deepest depths of how they think and how they operate, they're not masculine. But it's not their fault. Because usually a lot of the time, they've never got the lessons. They've never got the information. They've never went out to look for it. These answers, even though they're encoded in your DNA, you still have to go out for it. You still have to look for it. You still have to be a man that reads, that studies, that observes, that's going to take time out to really, truly sit and think about things, to get mentors, to go on YouTube, to go on podcasts and find the answers. Because you're being robbed of the answers so far. You're being robbed. Right? This society doesn't want to let you know. They don't want to let you know that masculinity is not toxic. It's positive and it's powerful. They don't want to let you know that femininity is not weak. It's powerful. Ernestine, I'm glad that you find it useful and of value. You said, Eri Bombula, you said exactly, constantly saying, I'm a man. Honestly, I can't take you seriously. I think that's what something Lily said, real masculinity can be felt more than it can be seen. I actually definitely think that's true. I actually think both is true, right? You can feel femininity. It's energy, of course. That's the only thing you can do is feel it. As we said, I've heard someone say that energy is forces that manifest in things that are seen, but it itself is unseen. That's what energy is. You know, as someone who has the masculine energy in, when a girl is in her feminine energy, and this would be the other way around too, but when a girl is in her divine feminine energy, it's very difficult for that energy in my chest not to feel magnetized by it. I actually don't have a choice. And I'm sure that's what a woman feels too when she's around a guy who has that authentic masculinity that deep down she craves. You almost don't have a choice. Like, because it's the spirits interacting. Like Divine Queen, he said, like not understanding control of emotions and structure, can they still turn into the right masculine? Of course, because it's all a journey. Of course, you need to just learn how to control and consciously project each energy. It's the same thing for a woman. I would never say that you should try to do it by yourself. We should try to have teachers, coaches. We should try to seek the information. That's why a lot of religious people are on the right path to some extent, because religion understands masculine energy and feminine energy very good. So when you go to church or you go to the mosque, you're actually getting their version, their teachings and their understanding of the masculine and feminine energies. And a lot of that has broke down because we don't have a connection to religion anymore, which kind of broke down our connection to spirituality in some ways. So you have a lot of guys who don't grow up learning how to be structured, how to control their emotions. And same thing with women too. Hold on. Hold on. Shannon, you said, how do you step into your feminine energy? Well, that's exactly, I was saying earlier, I wrote this book, right? It's called Healing the Feminine Energy and the Wounds of your Inner Child. Well, we first have to assess why you're not in your feminine energy. Is it coming from trauma? Or is it coming from you've just grown up and you've been surrounded by, you've been put in situations that force you in your masculine energy? It could be a woman who was with a partner, but she's raising a kid by herself now because they might have split and went apart. And the reasons why you're not in your feminine energy is the keys to being in your feminine energy. Now, we have to look at it as a journey, right, of becoming the empowered version that we want to be. We're going to have to change the way we think, the way we talk, the thoughts that we have, the way that I said, the way we talk, the things you do. You could do something in a masculine energy and you could do something in a feminine energy. You could be on a date with a guy and say, I was saying this to someone earlier, you could say, let's meet at this place. And you could say it in a masculine way. But you could say, hey, what do you think about meeting in this place? Which gives the guy the opportunity to be in his masculine energy, right? Everything can be done from a masculine place or a feminine place. Now, I would say one of the blocks in society today is that we look at the masculine energy as the thing to be, right? So a lot of women are discouraged from being in their feminine energy because they don't see it as empowering. They don't see it as the thing to be. They want to be in their masculine energy because there's a bigger reputation for masculine energy. Even though it's the most hated, it's kind of the thing that everyone wants to be. No one wants to be receptive. No one wants to be softer. Well, there's a movement of that, but that's not pushed onto people. Hey, you should want to be soft. No, you should want to be hard. Like the nature of society in terms of the corporate world and work. No, be a boss bitch. Be a boss babe. Don't accept help from anyone. Do it yourself. All of these things are going to put you in your masculine energy. But then you have the feminine queen who's like, nah, I'm okay being in my feminine energy. I'm okay being magnetic. I'm okay being in my sensuality. I'm okay embracing flow. I'm okay embracing pleasure. One of the ways that you can step into your feminine energy is by embracing flow and not being so rigid. So the masculine energy is hard, the feminine energy is soft, and it's flow, right? Add some flow to your routine. Be a little bit spontaneous. Be okay being more playful, joyful, softer. Just giggle to yourself once in a while. Add some flow to your life. Corey said, I'm a damsel in distress. The good thing about being the damsel in distress is that the hero wants to save the damsel in distress. You said us women, someone said, us women need to be aware of the power that comes to us naturally as women. It's radiating. one of the traits of the feminine energy is internal, right? There's a lot of internal value in the feminine. Think about the fact that we all appreciate feminine beauty. There's something inherent about beauty, right? That's an example of value in a woman and in the feminine that is inherent. So someone said before, I have a problem receiving help or something. Let me go back to it. I cannot ask for help. You should see yourself as valuable, so you're worth getting value back. So when you're asking for help, you're just getting value that really is owed to you. That's a natural exchange. That's why men want to be given. Someone said, I'm a damsel in distress. And I said, the hero wants to save the damsel in distress. That's why men want to be given to women. They naturally see value in a woman. Oh, she's pretty, boom, value straight away. Whereas you guys, you take time to assess a guy to see his value. You want to see his character and the experiences that he's having or that he can introduce you to and the qualities that he has. That's when you deem him as valuable. And it's good. That's how it's supposed to be, because the masculine is external. The feminine is internal. Again, we can go back to looking at the genitals. The nature of the genitals for a woman is internal. The nature of, the man's D is what? External. What are your... Wait, hold on. Glow Joy Happy. What's your name again? I forgot. But you said, what are your thoughts on sex discipline in the men and not watching POR? And the hub has... I remember Nadine. The hub has a lot of men in a chokehold, right? So it keeps him in lustful spirit. And you wouldn't know this, but men know this. As a guy, when you watch the hub, for example, and after you're finished, you always get a low feeling. There's always this sorry-ass feeling that you get, right? It's not empowering at all. It doesn't feel good, right? But it's like you experience 5 to 10 seconds of pleasure, right? When you have the BIGO, and after there's a calm down. And it's funny because you've given energy and got nothing in return. After that, your testosterone levels drop. You get that lowly feeling. You do not feel high about yourself. And your body believes that it impregnated someone. But really what you just did is you got a cheap high. You got a cheap dopamine spike. And they even say it damages your brain. It doesn't really make a difference on what type of corn that you watch. But one of the best things that I ever did was stop myself from being addicted to watching that, like a couple years ago. Because as a guy, again, you just, it almost can become like routine for you to just do that. I actually felt much more happier when I stopped. I can still watch it, but there's no attachment to it. There's no level or feeling of addiction to it. Now, when it comes to the discipline aspect, right? What's up, Nora? When you become disciplined, you value your energy. So when I went on that journey of looking and studying that stuff, I looked at it as, it's just, I don't want to really watch corn anymore. But then I started going on this journey of studying the importance of that energy, sex, true energy, right? Conserving it, being able to transform and transmute that power into different things. The best thing about any sort of discipline is you save that energy, you transform it into something else. John said, Kyrie, just say you're sorry. We ain't never saying we sorry. You know, as a man, when you say something, you gotta stand on your principles. Tom, you said you're trying to reduce it too. It's got to a point where I watch it when I'm bored. I would say don't do that. Don't watch it when you're bored. All right, I'm gonna. Okay, let me try. All right, I made you one. Yeah, so I was saying to Sam, don't just watch it when you're bored. What's the point? Again, we was talking about return on investment. What's the point? What is the return on investment? Now and again, it's okay. I mean, it's not that damaging if it's very much in moderation, but I would say you need to go through a period, try your best to go 100 days without doing it. Gain control over your own body. Hold on. Lisa, you said if you have a healthy sex life, why do some men need to do that? Because men, it's not really about having a healthy bedroom life for men. A man is designed for mass reproduction, right? They're very, I'm not trying to use the word because, again, TikTok will block you apparently, but a man is built for mass reproduction, for quantity, to spread his seed. And it's almost like corn takes advantage of that, right? But the damaging thing about corn is that it takes away your motivation to keep growing. So a lot of men who go on the journey of semen retention and stopping watching that is that you become more productive. There's more depth to your interactions. There's more depth in your, even your relationship. I did a video about this on my YouTube. It was 5 pros of semen retention and 3 cons of semen retention. But you want to add some level of purpose, and again, we want to be divine masculine, we want to be divine feminine. So we don't want to be doing things just for superficial, temporary pleasure. But yeah, you could have a healthy sex life with a guy and he still wants to. Because again, the masculine body is designed for variety. Hold on. You said men are just always looking for excitement, I think. There's excitement in novelty and variety. What it is the genes trying to spread his seed because it gives him more reproductive success. Dara, I will be if you want to. You said a lot of men and women respond defensive when I say you don't want to date someone that watches it. Why don't you want to date someone that watches it? What is your personal reason? Love transforms you. You said manifest with your O. Manifestation, that's what we want. Lisa, you said for periods of time, it can be daily, but then he's still looking at it. What do you mean? Like, you mean he's still looking at it like every day? But that's a lot of guys. Anything you can't stop is an addiction, and many guys are addicted to it. That's been me in the past. But recognizing, addiction helps you to stop. Tasmin, you said, what if my partner is struggling with substances? How do I show him there's a world beyond? Well, I believe in something called, I call it the Queen's Whisper. And I've noticed that a woman has the potential to whisper in a man's ear and help him to see who he can be. So if you want to show him there's a world beyond, tell him who he can be. Don't tell him about the state that he's in. Tell him about the potential of who he could be and what he can create. Dara, I'm from London. Where are you from? Lisa, you said it makes you feel like you're not fulfilling him in some way. This is why I was trying to say before. Like, a guy could have the healthiest SEX life and still look at corn, still look at other women, still be with other women. It's nothing to do with you. Actually, literally, it's nothing to do with you, because the masculine is compartmentalized. So your interaction with him is the sole thing that you should be measuring when you're thinking about, do you fulfill him? Tasmin, let me know how it goes. I'd love to see if that has a effect. Substances are scary because it's like it really has a hold over the person's mind. But if you're with that person, you're down for that person, then yeah, you should stick in it. I truly believe that a woman's able to whisper in a man's ear and make him see the God in himself, make him see the king if he's lost his way. You see that in shows as well. Like, it'll be like, I was watching Vikings, right? And in Vikings, the girl, who is it? Don't know if you guys have watched Vikings, but you know, Ivan was with, he's a cripple, right? So he always had like some ego about wanting to prove himself, right? And the wife he was with at the time, he was being disrespected by some people, I believe, if I remember correctly. But I think he was king at this point, or he was at least a prince, or he was a leader of some sort of part of the kingdom. And his wife, who was with him, was whispering in his ear, like, you're a god. You're a god. No, you should be doing this. You should be doing that. These people should be treating you in this way. These people should be treating you in that way. I call it the Queen's Whisper. She can whisper in the man's ear and make him believe what he should be. Zimzi, you said, why do men treat women differently based on their attractiveness? I'm genuinely curious. I would say everyone does that. Literally everyone does that. Women treat men according to their attractiveness too. Imagine someone called Arash Dibazar. He uses this example, right? If the homeless guy speaks to a woman or does something to a woman, she could go, "Oh, creep, keep him away from me," right? But if the celebrity does it, she's gonna react differently. If the homeless guy came up to a girl and said, "Hey, how are you?" she might be like, "Oh." But if a celebrity came up to her and said the same thing, she's gonna treat him differently, right? But let's say she didn't know he's a celebrity. He just looked insanely attractive. Isn't she gonna receive that differently? Both could be strangers, but she's gonna treat him differently. That's funny. Dara, you're from Nigeria. I've never been to Africa, to be fair, so I'm glad my thought process is appreciated. I hope you sleep well. So yeah, earlier, what was we talking about, guys? We were saying there's no return on investment, or there's little return on investment for toxic relationships, and toxicity, but there is much return on investment for the mature one. And you can do the same thing. You can get the same stimulation that the toxic boy gets. You can be the mature masculine and get the same thing, right? Same thing. For a woman, hey, I want to be in a toxic situation because it's stimulating. Red flag, red flag. I guarantee you're gonna wish you didn't go for that red flag. But don't worry, if you go for the right green flag, it'll be just as stimulating. You don't have to worry. All right, you don't have to worry, because divinity designed it so that we would find it fulfilling to be in something that is empowering, that helps us grow, that is good for us. Marco, that's funny. You know what's so funny though? Some people, I know some words I say with a little bit of an American twist, because I used to be stay in Los Angeles, and I picked up a couple things. But yeah, then we were saying, right, that the toxic boy gets getting low, Barry. The toxic boy gets stimulation, but he doesn't get submissiveness from a woman. He doesn't inspire it, because in order to get the highest level of submission in a woman, you have to make her feel comfortable, safe to some degree, right? And that's why Blueface, the rapper, he's in that toxic situation he's in. And guess what? His woman is extremely stimulated by him, but she's still disrespecting him. She's still hitting him in public. And I think he's doing the same to her or whatever. But this is the motivation why a guy should say, I don't need to be the toxic boy. You're right, Deborah. They both are. But I always put it a little bit more on the guy, because the guy is supposed to be responsible. And she will reflect you. A girl could be with one guy. What's up, Anna? Shout out to Ukraine. A girl could be with one guy, and she could be one way. And that same girl could be with another guy and be another way. She'll be with one guy and be toxic. She'll get the healthy guy, the mature guy. And she'll be making videos saying, I'm so glad I met this guy. He changed the way I think. He changed the way I operate. That he can do that. A man has the potential to do that, right? Now, one of the reasons why mature masculine is better than toxic boy is because he does the things that puts her in the right, or he justifies her doing disrespectful things. So, for example, because he's not setting the context of the interaction as respectful, healthy, mature, guess what? She's operating on that frequency. Let's say, again, we was talking about saying you can't be a man if you lie. You ain't really that guy. When you lie to a woman, you give her the right to be disrespectful. Someone called Simple the P said, when you lie to a woman, you give her a license to despise you. You give her a license to disrespect you. But the empowered masculine, the divine masculine, he takes away her right to be disrespectful, because he keeps it solid and he's doing the right thing. Even if he makes mistakes, that's fine. But his intentions are always good. And because his intentions are always good, she's never justified in disrespecting him. He'll always be able to put her in her place respectfully, and that's enough. She'll go, yeah, he's right. But let's say you don't lead as an example in positivity. I'll give you an example. This is a good example, right? As I said, you got to lead by example first. Let's say you're in a toxic situation. To you, swearing in arguments, I don't even believe in arguments, but swearing in arguments is okay, right? But the moment the mature masculine says, baby, we don't speak to each other like that. I don't swear at you. He'll start with that. That's a good way. You say to a woman, I don't want to swear at you. That now justifies him saying, of course you shouldn't swear at me. She's not going to say, well, I want to swear at you. Unless she's super toxic, but then you shouldn't be with a girl like that anyway. But because he sets the context as that, hey, baby, we don't swear at each other in arguments. That's not what we do. Now she has to reflect that. She has to either reflect it or she has to leave. So the toxic boy, he doesn't do that. He's gonna lose his stuff. Someone said earlier, what if he doesn't control his emotions? I think it was Divine Queen. He said, what if he doesn't know how to control his emotions? Yeah, he's gonna get mad and he's gonna be like, F this, F that, F that. This is why I don't effing blah blah blah. You've just justified the context of your interactions. You've just justified her participating in that. So now she's going to disrespect you. I never want my woman to disrespect me. I never want my woman to swear at me. That's weird. So it's going to make sense to her when I put her in her place. But do it with respect, with care. It's going to make sense to her, and she's going to go, yeah, he's right. To be honest, that is the context he set. That's how he's leading. He treats me with respect. So I don't want to disrespect him. The feminine energy is going to test. She's going to try to disrespect you at one point. She's going to try. She has to try, right? She shouldn't do it consciously, but the feminine energy in her is going to do it. And when she does, you have to have set the context in such a way that it consciously makes sense for her to fix herself up and be in line with you putting her in her place in that moment. How do you put a babes in her place? Well, that's what we're talking about. First, it comes from you have to be the masculine leader. That's what I say. Be the masculine leader. You lead as an example. You set the context of what you want things to be. You set the context of respect, right? And then you can demand it. You can demand it now. What's going to happen is, as I said, the feminine energy, it has to test you. She has to try to disrespect you. It's her way of finding out who you are. It's her way of finding out if you really respect yourself. If you see yourself as a king, you don't want your queen to disrespect you. You don't. That's weird. In the ancient times, those kings were not being disrespected by the queens. I can guarantee you that. He's the king of the entire land. What do you mean? And if his queen can disrespect him, then he ain't really the king. She's the most powerful person in all of the lands. So you have to demand respect and command respect. But in this day and age, right, where things are very toxic and girls will feel comfortable disrespecting men, you have to set the context as, hey, we don't do that. I am the king. I am the king in these lands. But don't worry, I respect, I admire. You're my woman, you're my queen. But that's why we don't do it. Now, what's going to happen is this. As I said, she has to test. She has to do it. Someone said in the chat, who was it? Someone said they're a little brat. That's what I saw. Yeah, Deborah said she's a little cheeky, but a sensitive guy is not going to like it, right? She's going to be a little bit cheeky. She's going to give a little bit of attitude. It's going to be on a small level. Don't let her get away with that small level. Don't let Deborah get away with that small disrespect that she's about to give. Don't let her get away with it. You can put her in a place gently, lightly. But guys that like banter, see, that's a good way. One way of doing it in a light way is a banter way. So you could say, man, who are you talking to? I ain't taking you to the cinema later anymore. And she's like, no, take me to the cinema. That's like a level, if it's a level 1 playful, cheeky, you could just interact with her like that. Now, once it steps up a level, you're going to have to say, babe, we don't speak like that. Don't ever speak to me like that again. You can say it respectfully, but I'm saying inside, there's a warrior king with swords. You got the sword inside. You're a warrior king. You're like, I'm not worth being disrespected. I'm the king of this land. My queen don't disrespect me. But you don't. If you engage with her like that when it's at level 1, you won't get to level 5. But it's about making sure that you know she has to respect you. Her attraction for you is heavily linked to how much she respects you. She can only be attracted to you as much as she respects you, and not more. They also say you are too reactive if you overdo it. Well, it depends how, right? But what about men disrespect? Hold on. What's up, Helly? Okay. I like the point that Deborah said about sensitive, right? Never take it personal. I never take it personal. Anything a woman does, I never take it personal. I just look at it as her feminine nature just expressing itself. So that helps you to measure how far you're supposed to go. You don't need... If she does a level 1 disrespect, you match it with a level 1, put her in that place. You could be playful, you could be soft, you could be... let's say, for example, a level 1 disrespect, and I'm going to cover this. I got a course coming up, right? Video series, but I also have a book coming up. It's about masculine leadership. And if you ever want to speak about this stuff in a deeper way, then anyone here is free to book a one-on-one. You can just go to the link in my bio. But let's say a woman speaks over you, all right? A lot of girls do that in conversation. They just get excited, so they just speak over you. But let's say you're in an argument and she speaks over you. The topic of the conversation is over. Nothing you say next matters. You have to fix that. You have to stop her right there from being coming from a calm place, coming from a place of unconditional love, coming from a place of respect. So you don't go too reactive. You don't go too emotional and angry about it. Sometimes the lion will have to come out and roar, but I'm assuming we're not all the way up there. You're going to have to stop that. You're going to have to say, hey, I don't mind listening to what you have to say. In fact, I love what you have to say. I want to hear it. But when I'm speaking, don't speak over me like that. It's disrespectful. And I think we should speak to each other with respect. But again, if it's a small one, you stay, you can stay playful. You can stay, you don't have to go too serious. But it really depends on the girl. It really depends on the girl. Some girls are more like hardcore. You can't be too soft. They're just going to look at you like, he's just a... But some girls, you speak too much and you're going to hurt them. They're too sensitive. So if you overdo it with them, they really feel offended by that. Especially like a soft, very soft woman. Hold on. Vanessa, you said, what about men disrespecting women? What do you mean, though? I love it when, Nadine said, I love it when boundaries are being placed in a healthy manner. That's the only way to do it, or the best way to do it. You don't need to do it in a toxic way. And I'll tell you why. Because it creates too much of a toxic context. It okays a disrespectful communication line going on. You don't want that. She's more likely to cooperate and be submissive if there's a feeling of she's not being demeaned. It's more you're doing it out of respect for yourself and the fact that you are the man. You are the man. Baby, don't disrespect me. I'm the man here. What are we doing? But you're much more justified in doing that if you keep it real, if you're a solid guy and all of that, you have good intentions. So yeah, Deborah needs that putting in her place. She just wants it respectfully. She gonna be a bit cheeky. But yeah, leading is about leading yourself first. You need to be the example. The principles that you try to instill on someone else first must be instilled in yourself. It must be on you first. And it's a great thing as a man. You get to set the context. I made a video time back. He got like 600k views. I was saying the masculine is structural, the feminine is reactive. So a lot of the time men complain about women, you're really just complaining about you're complaining at your mirror. That's what you're really doing. She's the mirror of your actions. She's the mirror of the vibe you set. What's up, Fremi? And I know some guys don't like that, but it's really a good thing because you get to decide. That's not a bad thing. But yeah, when it comes to things like putting someone in their place or whatever, you can always do it you could do it in, just how we said we can do things in a toxic, feminine way and do it in a masculine way. You can do these same things in a healthy way and a disrespectful way or a toxic way. Why not you can do the same thing. Don't worry. You don't have to say, I can only, get a girl if I treat her mean and then I'll keep her keen. No, I'm saying you can do the same thing. You can keep her keen. You don't have to be mean, though. That's facts. And if you do think you have to be mean to treat her keen, I'm telling you, you just don't have the game. But that's okay, because we learning it. Who blessed you with this knowledge? Well, I'm always learning, studying. One of my mentors that I've learned from is someone called Araj Dibazar. I'm always reading. I've learned from someone called Andre Taylor. He helped teach me about the importance of being a solid guy, being willing to die for your principles, and how, he said one time that he never had a problem with a girl being in her feminine energy with him because he was so committed to being the man. He said, any girl I get with, she naturally just bees in her feminine energy because I'm being the example of a man and I'm committed to portraying and expressing masculine value. Elita, I'm glad you came here. Vanessa, you said, what would you say femininity means to you? All right, this is my book, right? It's called Healing the Feminine Energy. If you want to get it, you can get it on Amazon. You can get an audiobook version. It's on my link in bio. There's also a video series course that goes with it. It's a 10-part series where I talk about this stuff, healing the feminine energy, right? But I'm going to read you a little bit about femininity. This is in the intro. So the first page is the traits of the feminine. And it starts off saying the traits of the wounded feminine. If you want to hear that, I can tell you if you want, but I'll read the traits of the empowered feminine. The empowered feminine is peaceful. She's not easily triggered. She expresses creativity. Creativity is very important because creativity is that nurturing, nourishing, creative energy that helps a woman to transform things. It's that creative energy that is, taking the seed and manifesting it. This is one of the reasons why a woman is extremely happy, and it's therapeutic for a woman to do something creative. You want your woman to do something creative. Give her time. That's like a self-care activity. It helps her be in her feminine energy. Encourage her to do her painting. Encourage her to do her writing. Encourage her to do creative things. What's up, Vanessa? Lily, this book is Healing the Feminine Energy and the Wounds of Your Inner Child. It sets you on the path of healing your feminine energy and tapping into it. If you're predominantly in your masculine, you start, you want to enter your feminine energy. And this literally has exercises that you can do. So it's literally like a guide. But I'll finish reading the traits of the feminine. She's able to express authentically and communicate boundaries and needs. Yeah, that is where I read it from, Lily. I'm reading it now. So again, the empowered feminine, she's peaceful. She's not easily triggered. She expresses creativity. She's able to express authentically and communicate boundaries and needs. She's balanced with an authentic expression of sexuality and sensuality. She's emotionally balanced, and she's cooperative. Hold on. So those are some of the traits of the empowered feminine. The feminine energy is soft. The feminine energy is gentle. Feminine energy is magnetic. Being in your feminine means being intuitive. I love that message. Rachel, wait, let me answer someone else first. Because I know someone said... Nadine, you said, so true, but men need creativity too. And of course they do. There's many creative people. We're not all the way one way. So it goes back down to what someone said, which is, I really appreciate this, but how can men be writing all these books about femininity? Now, I don't know about any other guy. I only know about me, right? And what I do know is that it's different. There's a difference between the masculine energy, and there's a difference between the masculine energy and being a man. There's a difference between feminine energy and women. They're not actually exactly the exact same thing. They're energies. We could actually take out the word masculine energy and feminine energy. We could just say yin, yang. We could just say push, pull. It just happens to be that one gender generally expresses dominantly one energy, and the other tends to express the other. What this is the study of the energy. There are many women who are women, but they don't know how to express feminine energy or femininity. So, and also, I'm someone, right, as a man, so that I can understand you, I learn from other women. If you go through my history, right, my website history, my YouTube history, mentors and people I want to learn from, it's women. Because you're kind of right. If I want to have an understanding of femininity, I need to learn from the experience of women. A lot of what I've learned about feminine energy has come from women. And then I add my understanding of the energies. I understand my ability to articulate it and give it to you. You might not want to do all this research. I could show you this bookcase right now. I could show you when I drive, I don't listen to music. I really don't. My music is listening to things about the masculine energy, listening to things about the feminine energy. I'm actually a geek when it comes to this stuff. And I'm bringing and articulating the message for you because I feel like that's my divine purpose. Divine Queen, you said, what other books have you written? Before this, before the whole manhood, womanhood thing, I had written 3 books about boxing. So I have a boxing channel, I have a boxing brand, and I wrote a book called The Custom Model Mind. It's really like a self-development book, a mental development book, but it's based on the things that Mike Tyson's mentor taught to Mike Tyson. And then I wrote another book about Floyd Mayweather. And then I wrote another book about, it's called Automatic Ambition. It's about affirmations. Hold on. Rachel, I don't know about any other guys, but all I know is that the people so far who have, read my books have positively received it. What's up, Garima? How you doing? And Lily, it does ship to the US because you can buy on Amazon. The next book is, because really what I'm doing, my plan is to do 10 books for men, 10 books for women. It's like a series, right? And the next one is going to be on masculine leadership. For real, I could listen to Steven Speaks on my way. I think I've heard of that person, but I don't know who it is. shout out you, bro. If you believe that, then yeah. Divine Queen. Yeah, the three other books I have is on Amazon. And then the fourth one too. Yeah. Nadine, well, you know what? It's good. As long as you have an open mind, that's what it's about. Because I say this, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Right? But try it. Like me, I'm always open to different perspectives. What if you know something that I don't know? And it's interesting, right? Another thing. Many women say they need a man to put them in their feminine energy, right? They say, I cannot be in my feminine energy unless I have a man in his masculine energy. And there is some truth to that. There is actually some truth. But then think about this. Isn't it interesting then, right? If a woman struggles to be in her feminine energy, but there's a man, or, let's say the man in this scenario is in his masculine energy, and he's able to put women in his feminine energy, wouldn't he have a better idea or more exposure to feminine energy than a woman who struggles to be in her feminine energy? A woman with me doesn't struggle to be in her feminine energy. She will slip right into it. For Sean, what's up? Name or go. Is your name Yusuf? And if you say that right, does that mean you're not chill? Corey, I want a man that respects himself enough to guide me to perfection, which is my fam. Interesting. But one of the things that I say in the book is you don't have to totally rely on a man to be in your feminine energy. To be in it to the highest extent, perhaps. Right? So many girls are right when they say, well, if I had a man in my masculine energy, in his masculine energy, I'd be put in my feminine energy. That is true. But you don't need to wait for a man, because now you're waiting for someone else to take control of your life. You can do the work. You can heal your feminine energy. You can do enough work, right? That attracts a guy who would do that anyway. The masculine energy is attracted to the feminine energy. Hold on. Reemus, would you do 3 squats for more knowledge? What do you mean? Lily said, right, you don't need a man to be feminine, that you already are. Very much. That's why there are many women who aren't with a guy, but guess what? They are expressing the beauty of femininity already. Many traditional women are like that, right? Because there's just a respect and a desire to be in the feminine energy. Being with a man is just an opportunity to flow into it. Interesting. And yeah, he'll give you he'll give you a deeper opportunity to be in it, but you're more likely again to attract that guy if you're already in your feminine energy, because they're magnetic, they're polarizing opposites. They cannot help but find each other. Miss V and Amon, you guys need to stop. You're amazing. That is a funny comment. What is your name? Let me go back. Nadine, you said truth, flow, and create. Sam has got game. Alright, I'll stop. What's up, Mickey? Shelton. Nadine, yeah, did I get the chance to check out The Will to Change? I actually bookmarked it. I didn't buy it yet, but I bookmarked it. I read up what the blurb was about. So I'm adding it to my wish list. But I got like 500 books in my Amazon wish list. Like, no joke. Like, I've got a lot. Thank you, Divine Queen, for them likes. What's up, Anna? You guys are funny. But I'm gonna get... What's up, Rosalina? Thank you, Haley. I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Damn. So I hope today I've given you motivation to not want to go for toxicity, but to want to be the expression of the mature, of the divine masculine and divine feminine, to have a divine interaction. Okay, so Nadine, you actually read it throughout. Alita, you said it feels good to hear and know what a man has, that a man has it, and to simply trust his leadership. That's what I'm saying. So it's all about teamwork. I'm so big on the team. That's another reason why I don't believe in toxicity, because the toxic couple is never really a good team. It's never really a good team. I need that teamwork. You know, a lot of people say, what does she bring to the table? What do they bring to the table? But you guys are not operating from that place we're talking about. Oh, Divine Queen, you just got it. I'm excited to hear what you think. Meter, you said teamwork make the dream work. That's what I'm saying. And the beauty about connecting the two, connecting the masculine, connecting the feminine. If we say the masculine has certain components, then by teamwork, the team now, anyone who is a part of that team gets access to the opposite. So when you connect the feminine to the masculine, the feminine gets the benefits and the qualities of the masculine as if she has it, even though she doesn't have it. It's almost like they are now one. Yes, they are one in that they're individuals, but when they come together, it's almost like a new, bigger one. Literally like a team. Well, it seems as if we are done. I've called him out too many times on substances. Damn. Well, it's hard because substances, the thing about that is it's not the person. When substances have control of a person, it's the substances. So you're not just going up against the person, you're going up against the person and the substances. How long have you guys been together? Teamwork is born from intimacy. I like that. Better alignment creates better assignments. That is hard. I like that. I'm going to start using that. I'll credit you though. What's up, Ashley?